Win and you're in, lose and it's over for the Dallas Mavericks, who are in Sacramento for tonight's play-in elimination game. Also there is our Tim MacMahon. Tim, forgive me for this long preamble, but there is a whole lot going on right now in Dallas, so we need to set all of this up properly. You were set to travel to Sacramento, but you stayed in Dallas to be able to attend this meeting that was off the record between general manager Nico Harrison and a select few members here of the Dallas media. It was called a little bit last minute. What can you tell us about what came out of that conversation?
Well, we were able to use our audio recorders, which had to be negotiated beforehand. It was that kind of an awkward situation, and frankly, it was overdue. It was way past time, 2.5 months after the trade, for Nico Harrison to hold the first media availability that he had in Dallas. Now, it was only 15 members of the media, but Malika, this was an alarming lack of logic expressed by Nico Harrison and an astounding amount of tone deafness. And it did, as far as trying to get the fans back on board, it was a complete airball. And by the way, one of those fans is a fella who's got a statue outside the arena. It's right off Nowitzki Way. It's a street named after this gentleman, big German dude named Dirk Nowitzki. He has been out on this franchise for a while. He refers to himself as a Mavs fan. It has nothing to do with the inner workings of the franchise because of decisions made by Nico Harrison, and I'm talking about way before the Luka trade. One of those decisions, the firing of Casey Smith, a man who is as respected in the NBA medical community as anybody, one of Dirk's best friends, and obviously the Mavericks have had some medical issues this year. I asked Nico Harrison about that. He said it's almost a joke to bring it up. I promise you this, Mavs fans ain't laughing, and Dirk Nowitzki sure as hell doesn't find that funny. Patrick Dumont's listening, by the way. This has been one heck of a learning experience for him in his first full year as an NBA governor. I think it's come to the realization that he's got a massive mess on his hands. He's got some decisions to make to begin the cleanup process in Dallas.
Yeah, as you reported, Nico Harrison said many times when he was asked to sort of explain the logic of trading away Luka Doncic that defense wins championships, insinuating that he doesn't think that that could have happened with Luka there, although they went to the NBA Finals last year. Tonight, though, the stakes couldn't be higher for the Dallas Mavericks. Beat Sacramento, and they have a chance to be in the playoffs. Lose, and their season is done. Sacramento is hoping to have something to say about all this. And when the Kings win, they light the beam. Do you think that they would, I don't know, invite you to do that tonight?
Hey, we might even be able to get a camera on that one. That'd be awesome.
As someone who has lit the beam once, Tim, I can tell you it is a true out-of-this-galaxy experience. Tim MacMahon, thank you so very much for stopping by NBA Today. We appreciate it. Enjoy tonight's game. So after all of that, they still have an elimination game here tonight. I'm here with Udonis Haslem here to break down this big man battle that we are going to see, because they need to block out the noise. The Dallas Mavericks do, and be able to lock in on the court. Let's set the stage, though, in all of this, because up until recently, right, UD, it's been one-sided, this matchup, Domantas Sabonis and Anthony Davis. His team's won the first 10 games that he played against Davis, but then AD's squad has won these last 4 meetings. Obviously, the squads have changed a little bit here. What will AD be facing on the floor tonight?
Well, this game is definitely going to come down to these two bigs, and Sabonis has had some success against AD, but it hasn't been just him. If we freeze it right here, once AD gets the ball right here, they're shrinking the elbows, making sure this defender, if he goes middle, is going to give him trouble. This is where Austin Reeves needs to pull around a little bit just to get in AD's vision. So now he gets the shot, but it's technically against 2 people. So even though he played good defense and kept his chest between him and the basket, you freeze it here. Once again, his chest is between AD and the basket. He's staying in front. We got help again from the wing here. So what I've seen teams be able to do is, Sabonis, keep your chest in front. We're going to help you from the wings. We're going to sink from the elbows. AD is never technically going to go one-on-one tonight. There's always going to be some help. He needs to have his eyes peeled, and the shooters need to get in his vision so he can make them pay.
And I wonder, he's been playing the 4 more with the Dallas Mavericks, right? Having those multi-big lineups that Anthony Davis, we know he enjoys playing with. If he's going to have those same issues that you just laid out when he was on the Los Angeles Lakers, it's going to be a matchup to watch in this one. Bucket, it's like a hot date. The Heat and the Bulls, they are the 2 teams it feels like you can always pencil into the play-in. It's the 3rd straight season these 2 have met in the play-in. The winner, of course, will face the Hawks on Friday for the final spot in the Eastern playoff standings. Chicago won the season series 3-0 over Miami, but they've never beat Miami in the play-in. So, Wendy, what's the key to this one going to be?
The Heat have got to find a game plan that can control the guards for the Bulls. These guys have been red hot. Kobe White is one of the hottest players in the league right now. Josh Giddey has basically been a triple-double machine for the last month. They've got some weapons, the Heat do. Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. You know Eric Spoelstra is one of the best one-game coaches in the league. But, man, the Bulls really finished strong. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. They're going to come into this game with home court and momentum.
Udonis, is this the Heat team, the Heat culture? It brings out the Miami Heat have been the most successful play-in team in play-in history. It's a short history, but they have been. What is it about Eric Spoelstra in these moments, or this group in this moment?
I mean, this is when Spo feels most alive, when he's in the mud. You would think that a championship coach just loves being on top and loves winning. No, he actually loves being in the mud. When you find out who's with you, who you can take in the foxhole with you. So when those guys are looking around that locker room, those guys are saying, we don't believe anybody in the world can beat us 4 straight games. All we have to do is win 1 out of 4. We're taking those odds. So I'm rallying my troops right now saying, guys, they beat us 3 times. There's no way in hell they can beat us 4 straight. We got to be able to get 1 game tonight. I know Spo, he's saying, just wrap your around 24 hours. Not the whole series, not another playoff series, not the next round, just these next 24 hours. We need to be savage.
What about Bam specifically?
Bam's been playing great right now. I think he's got a lot of clarity, and all this, he's grown as a player, but he's also grown as a leader. And I think that's gave him more clarity on the basketball court as well. One thing I tell Bam is the guys around you, spending time with those guys off the court, getting to learn those guys in their family, that only helps the relationship that you guys have on the basketball court. He's taken that team, he's led that team, and you see those guys starting to come together the second half of the season after going, losing those 10 straight games.
That's the Miami side of this play-in game. Brian, you mentioned the play of Josh Giddey here, but he's been battling through injury. What more can you tell us, Shams?
Malika, Josh Giddey will be playing tonight against the Heat, and he's been playing the last month or so, from what I'm told, is a muscle tear in the palm of his right hand, his shooting hand. It's a pain tolerance injury, something that's going to take him some weeks after the year to rest and rehab. But this is a team without Lonzo Ball, no Ayo Dosunmu, no Trey Jones, so they need him to tough it out, and he will be playing through a muscle tear in that palm of his right hand. He's been playing the best basketball of his NBA life, his NBA career, second half of the year, since the All-Star break. Almost 21 points a game, almost 11 rebounds a game, almost 10 assists per game. He's the second Bull in franchise history to average 8 rebounds and 7 assists. His company being Michael Jordan. This is a guy that the Bulls did not reach an extension with before the NBA season. Clearly, his value is going up.
That's what is going to be super interesting about Josh Giddey. He is going to be one of the more fascinating players to watch in the NBA this summer. He is going to be a restricted free agent. Nobody has any money to spend. It's not a good time to be a restricted free agent, but he's having such a strong finish to this year. He gets an opportunity in the postseason to send a message to the Bulls management to take care of him long term.
Well, and these are the questions. These are, when you talk about what's at stake for these two franchises, these are the conversations that they could be having after tonight, depending on who's going home. It was the battle of Trae Young leading the Hawks offense and Paolo Banchero in the defense of the Orlando Magic. The winner gets the Celtics in the first round here. Now, entering the fourth, the Magic only had a 6-point lead, but then Cole Anthony Black, they got hot. The duo combined for 20 points in the quarter, going 6 of 8 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, nearly outscoring the Hawks just as a duo. Their efforts helped the Magic pull away in the fourth quarter here, UD.
Yeah, this went exactly how I thought it would go. It's a team that's great at defense and another team that's great at offense, and you know me, I'm always going to pick the defensive team.
Trae Young, nice little nutmeg there on Wendell Carter Jr., and then he hits the floater. It was a nice move, but then after the make, he passes the ball a little too hard, the referees thought. He receives a tech for that. And then the official rolls the ball down the court to the other official. Young is in the crosshairs here, and he kicks the ball, and that got him another tech, and then he was ejected from the game. He wasn't done. He fakes out the official twice before finally handing it to him and walking off the floor. The Magic would go on to win this one 120-95 and clinch the 7th seed in the East. So the Magic earned the 7th seed, and what do they pull out of their hat? A first-round series against the Celtics. And if you feel like it's been a while since the Magic have advanced in the playoffs, you'd be right. Orlando has not won a playoff series since 2010. That drought is the 4th longest active one in the NBA. The Magic team, by the way, at the time was led by MVP Hall of Famer candidate Dwight Howard here. For Magic fans looking for an optimistic view of this matchup, Orlando is one of 3 teams with a winning record against Boston since Joe Mazzulla took over in 2022. The Magic have won 6 of those 10 meetings over that span. But the Celtics are still the defending champs. Only 2 teams in the league are top 5 in offense and defense this season. Boston and OKC. So the Celtics, they hope to be the first team to repeat as champion since 2018 when the Warriors did it, and they have the second best odds to do it, according to ESPN Bet. So, UD, we know how potent the Boston Celtics are. Is there any way that the Magic, do you see anything here where any problems that they pose?
And everybody know about the playoffs. The playoffs is about matchups. Are the Orlando Magic better than Boston? No, but they match up well with the Boston Celtics. They have length on the wing. They have switchable matchups. Everybody knows that Tatum and Brown are the engine. They get in the paint with 2 feet, and they spray to the other guys. Those guys are able to shoot. They have wing guys who can keep those guys out of the paint. The problem with the Magic is their offense is just consistently inconsistent.
And that's the problem. The problem is the Orlando problem, not Boston's problem. And look, you look at Orlando, they're number 2 in defense. That's awesome. They're number 27 in offense. That's unacceptable. So what do you have when you have two ends of the spectrum? You meet in the middle. How in the middle? They're 41 and 41 in the regular season. Okay, so it's hard for me to take them seriously to fight that offensive juggernaut in Boston. I never assume any team is going to sweep another team. I believe the Magic will be able to give the Celtics a little bit of issues, but a problem, I don't think so. And I still remain surprised. But look, Orlando's had injuries this year. Jalen Suggs got knocked out for the year. I still remain surprised that a team that had a bunch of expiring contracts and a bunch of draft picks didn't look to add offense at the deadline. They just don't make trades. This team doesn't make trades. I think that they're a little bit penalized for that right now because they could use some some injection of that. Look at Cole Anthony. This is a guy who about 10 times a year has an explosive performance. When he does, they look great, but they are like begging for those 10 times because they don't have anybody else who can give it to him consistently. So I don't think Boston is losing sleep. You watch Jaylen Brown, he has that knee. Ramona Shelburne reported that he had a pain or anti-inflammatory injection in his knee. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I don't think the Celtics are really going to sweat too much about this match.
It could be one of those series, right? The Magic are big. They've posed some physical challenges potentially. We could see some close games, but not necessarily. We don't necessarily expect it to be a close series, but stranger things have happened. Paolo Banchero, a star in the making in this league. And I just want to make sure I correct myself real quick. I said MVP candidate. I think I might have said MVP candidate. He finished second that year. Dwight Howard did. But if anyone needs to pick up a sharp shooter here, I hear our Shams Charania maybe.
Whoa, buckets.
Whoa,
buckets.
I didn't know you guys were taping, but
that's lesson number one. The cameras are always rolling.
Look at that.
All you need is a Haslem screen, and you're all set to go.
I'm great at setting screens, Wendy. We know that.
Sharpshooter Charania. More NBA
Don't
today.
Sleep on me.
After this.
Come on now.
I'm prepared to sleep on you.
Nice touch right there, though.